I feel like it's an arrogant man who's come in and gone, no, these women cannot have exclusivity over our venue because we can make more money. I'm Martina and welcome to Women-Inspired Networking Conversations, the podcast. Now, if you're a woman in business who's ever been nervous about networking, felt intimidated about the salesy approach that most networking events have, then this is for you. This podcast is all about real conversations. No fluff, no pressure, just real conversations with other women in business who understand the journey. Welcome to the podcast. I hope you enjoy. Grab a coffee and let's chat. Welcome back to Women-Inspired Networking Conversations, the podcast. Today I'm with Gemma again. Hey, Gemma.
Hi.
How's your day going?
Okay, it's swimming lessons day for my kids, and that always makes for an interesting school run because it's none of our favourite. But anyway.
I wanted to do a podcast today on my event that I had over this week, which was an absolute disaster.
Listen, you're giving yourself too hard a time.
I know, but we had major venue issues. Now, I don't know about you when you were getting your venues sorted, but venues are generally the most stressful part of what we do as leaders, I feel.
Yours wasn't broken, but the venue thing can make or break.
It can. So yesterday we had our normal venue and it's in a chain of coffee shops, let's say. And I remember when we set it up, they actually contacted me, the manager there. She was a lovely lady. She contacted me and said, I see you run local networking events. Would you like to run one with us here? And I was like, no, I don't need any more events, because they were a new branch and they didn't have many people coming through the door. So she just wanted the numbers. She just wanted some people to come in and buy coffee. And she knew that I was going to promote the heck out of it as well. So that would get them some extra exposure. And I turned up. Genuinely, I was going to say, thank you very much for thinking of us, but no, I don't need to do this. I have events about 20 minutes away in 3 different directions. I don't need one here. And I turned up and it was like an amazing space. It was like lots of small tables, a really open room. A speaker could stand anywhere in the room and you could be heard and seen. And I was like, this could actually work. But there's a big but. If you've got public coming in here, it is one room. There's no like private segregated bits.
The coffee machines are noisy.
They are so noisy. And beer pumps.
Yes.
Did you not remember that at your first event? Beer pumps.
Yes, no, I didn't.
Yeah, really, really loud. Anyways, so I went in there and I said, well, this is great, but I would need full exclusivity over the venue, knowing that no coffee shop has ever given us full exclusivity for the purpose of it being so loud and busy. And sometimes the guest speaker is doing a really private talk and you don't really want loads of public really, really close by. So I said to her, no. And she was like, no, I'll send everyone through the drive-through. I think it's really obvious where it is now. But anyways, we won't worry about that. We'll send everyone through the drive-through. I'll give you exclusivity. So I was like, now I've got no reason to say no. So I felt like I had to go through with it. But we started and it was great. And we did need exclusivity because it would have been just so loud, as I experienced this week. And the lovely lady who set it up, she's left.
How many months were you doing it there until this month happened?
So we started there in July of last year. So we had an agreement and I gave her all the dates before she left. I said, right, let's get the dates booked in and just want to check that that's all okay. And so she was like, yeah, fine, got it all, got your email address, got your number in case there's any issues. New guy takes over. Now, I might be stereotypical that it's a man. I feel like it's an arrogant man who's come in and gone, no, these women cannot have exclusivity over our venue because we can make more money.
How short-sighted though.
Well, as a result, he basically said, we can't have exclusivity. They weren't even going to tell me, though. This is what really, really gets on my nerves. They weren't even going to tell me that they weren't going to give us exclusivity anymore. It's only because I text the assistant manager and I said to her, just checking we're okay for next week. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, but you can't have exclusivity anymore. The new manager says that he's not going to do that. Now, what would you do, right, if you were in that situation as the manager and you wanted to change the agreement? What would you do?
Well, for a start, I'd honour the one that is like a week away, and then I'd say, look, going forwards, this isn't going to happen. But the fact that they did it at such short notice.
Communication is key between a venue and us, I think. This is why I always say to people, get a mobile number. You want to text the person a week before and be like, just confirming, we're all okay.
Nearby, just keep popping in, like, that's what I've been doing, like, I'm just popping by.
You just need an excuse to go back to the pub.
No!
So I am still to this day waiting for any form of communication with the man who's taken over because he still hasn't contacted me. And when we got there, it was awful. The whole cafe was full. And I walked over and I was like, I'm here for the event. He was like, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, where would you like us to go? He was like, just pick a table. Pick wherever you like. I was like, I need 10 tables all next to each other. I've got 20 women coming.
I feel like I don't wanna say this, but certainly that male manager is not the one because he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. We need venues that are gonna appreciate what we bring and work with us.
And also, a lot of our attendees run co-working or workshops, and I know that quite a few ladies used that said cafe for their
Wow.
workshops, and now they possibly won't because he's very close-minded. And also, they're opening up another branch of this cafe in another area about 45 minutes away. And I had already
Mm,
spoken to the previous lady about having a similar agreement in that new location when we expand. But obviously, I'm not going to do that anymore. Find somewhere
no.
else.
Burn some bridges.
But I do feel for the members because they arrived and I was really stressed. I was like, I felt like I was going round saying to all the newbies, it's not normally like this. This isn't how we normally do things because I didn't want them to have a bad experience.
But, polish doesn't make people feel comfortable. Like a super polished event, it's lovely, but I really think those bloopers and the icebreaker, it's reality, and we're all imperfect. So seeing that you're imperfect too, it might have helped those new people. You never know. Let's hope so.
Well, I did chat to them and they were like, don't worry, we don't know any different. But I've got a new venue now, so it's okay. But it was really stressful at the time. You've just changed venues, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm really excited actually. The new venue's so engaging. They're so focused. Like I went up at the weekend with some posters for them to put out and I had like a little bunch of 5 posters and I thought, I'll give a couple to them. I said, how many do you want? And they were like, we'll take all 5. And I've done some posting this week and I've seen that they've done some posting. It's wonderful. That's how keen and enthusiastic they are. And I'm delighted by it. It's really exciting because that's what you want to see.
I do think it's all about how much the venue want to work with us. It's not about the space necessarily. It's not about the physicality or the location or whether they've got parking necessarily. It's much more whether they want to work with us. Are they going to shout us out? Do they want to collaborate with us? And if they're grateful for our business, then I honestly feel like that's works so much better.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I'm in Felixstowe, so it's tricky with venues because parking can be an issue along the seafront and things like that. And it was really hard for me to weigh up what do we lose in terms of convenience with finding a good venue. And where I've gone to, down Felixstowe Ferry, is a bit of a drive out of actual town, but I've offset that against what a great venue it is, what a lovely space, how enthusiastic they are, and I really think it's going to work. Um, Sometimes you have to think about the compromise.
I think we put pressure on ourselves to tick all of the boxes when actually it's not that much of a problem. Like yesterday, the people who already come anyway, the regulars, they could see how upset I was about what was happening. And they were just like, it's okay. We'll go anywhere. It doesn't matter. We're just all together. You got this. It's fine. It's all about you, your energy and what you bring.
How was your attendance yesterday at your event? Did everyone turn up?
It was amazing. We had the most we've ever had in this location. But do you know what? I think it's because I pulled my finger out. I think because I physically myself run 4 or 5 events a month, I just don't have time to physically message everybody and
Huge.
put 100% into every single location. So I've kind of, by admission, let my foot off the brake a little bit. So I have pulled my finger out, gone to basics, and I have been messaging people just like as a courtesy thing, like you're in the area, the next event is this day, because you'll be surprised how many people don't know when the events are. And I feel like saying, have you been living under a rock? I post about it all the time.
We're in an echo chamber. It's so much part of our lives. We forget that other people aren't. I don't get it because I'm one of them people. I always know what's going on. It's easy to assume that everyone's like us.
I mean, obviously, you just look at the website. But no, people don't look at the website. They don't know when the next events are. I have a WhatsApp broadcast that goes out every single week with what events are on that week. I have an email that goes out every single week with what's on the next week. I post about it in the Facebook group. I post about it on all the community Facebook groups every day. How do you not know? People still don't know. So I have gone back to messaging people personally, one to one, not like a blanket message, just messaging people. Do you know the event is this week? Are you around? Did you want to come? And I think it's a nice personal touch because I genuinely want to invite them personally to the event. And anyway, I had about 12 people book from those messages, and we had about 21 of us, I think. So that was amazing.
Which is great.
Yeah, we normally have about 10 or 12, so it's a massive
The
difference.
irony the irony that it was your problematic venue month and that you
I know,
had a better attendance.
I know, it's
So
typical,
did
isn't it?
anybody cancel last minute or did anybody not turn up?
We always have some that don't turn up, but you'll also have some that book on the way there. This is another thing, right? So you can never guarantee how many people are gonna turn up. So I had one lady message me during the night to say, "Look, my little boy's not very well. I really don't think I'm gonna make it." That's absolutely fine, not a problem. So she didn't make it, and then I actually had 2 people book on the way. Well, I had one book at 9:30 as she walked through the door, and I had one who hadn't even booked her ticket and just turned up.
Oh, yes! I forgot about that.
So I ended up having -1, but then +2.
And we get it, don't we? I mean, like, life happens, especially those of us who've got kids.
Yeah, I had that from the other side. Like when I was coming to events and attending as an attendee rather than a leader, I would only book on the morning of going because I didn't know if Winston was going to be well or not. And if so many times I booked it and then couldn't go and then didn't get a refund because generally with these sort of ticket based events, there aren't refunds, are there?
There's so much to gain from our events that isn't just about attending.
When you join and book your ticket, you then get added to a group chat where you can connect with everyone on there before the event, during, and after. And then also the online directory, you'll have access to that. So all your links will go out. So there is so much value on top of coming to the event. But then also, I just want to say, like, we are human. With the company that I worked for, they were so strict. I'm not going to say what the company is, but the actual thing I was told to say was you wouldn't book a Beyonce concert and expect a refund because you were ill. That's what I was told to say.
Someone's getting a little bit above their station, aren't they?
Exactly.
Not quite Beyonce level.
I know. But we are human and we understand that things happen. I had a lady who literally was on her way to the event and her car tyre blew up and she couldn't get there. And she was waiting for the AA. And I said, that's totally not your fault. For this one exception, would you like to come to another event instead of that one?
Yeah.
Because I felt bad and our whole ethos is about being kind. If you're ill, I don't really know if that really justifies another ticket for another event.
Maybe a bereavement. I don't know. I feel like that would be one for me.
But then that's the beauty of having different leaders, because I always say to you guys, it's your business. You use your judgment. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. So it is discretion of the leader. There's no one policy. We do have a no refunds policy, but we are human at the same time.
I think this is really interesting because being a VA and working with different clients who run kind of sessions and different things like that, I see that they have, people have different policies. So you can't be, I think it's short sighted to be rigid, definitely. But here's a really good point about online, isn't it? Because with our online events now, people will sometimes book even though they know they can't attend because the speaker is recorded and Sharon, who's the online leader, will drop the talk into the chat afterwards, which is an amazing asset to online.
I think the online, that's a massive draw. And I think that Sharon probably gets a lot of sales of people who know they're not going to be there anyway, just so they can get the recording.
Okay, so given everything that happened yesterday, bearing in mind that you've resolved it now, you've got a really good venue.
Yeah.
When stuff like this happens, how do you keep going? Like, because I feel sometimes like it's a bit of a roller coaster, the good and the bad and the knockbacks. How do you keep going?
So like before the event, it's really stressful and you're like trying to get tickets. And then the event happens and you're like, oh. And I think as soon as the event starts, you kind of relax a little bit. But it's totally about feedback, isn't it? For me,
Yeah,
it's
you're right.
seeing people connect, people coming up to you at the end. One lady came up to me at the end. She comes to nearly all the events, bless her. And she said to me, Martina, this was the best event so far. She says this every time. But she's like, no, it really was the best event I've been to. I know you found it really stressful, but I made so many connections. There's so many people I'm going to work with from today. And she was so excited. And for me, it can be as stressful as you like, but you've been that person to bring people together, and they're now really excited about their business when they weren't to start with, and they're now going to increase their reach and they're going to work with other people. And I got some really lovely feedback yesterday. Let me have a look. Okay, so one lady said to me from the disaster event yesterday, Martina, I can say personally, these events are very inspiring. Today was my second time coming along, and it was again brilliant. Guest speaker was amazing too. You've created a wonderful network of incredible women. And honestly, that last sentence, you've created a network of incredible women, that for me, that's why I do it.
It sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah. And we had so many new people yesterday as well. So the fact that all those people were saying how great it was as well, just makes you think we're onto a good thing here, aren't we?
So, given all of that, and I
Mm.
have an answer for this for you, but I want to
Oh,
know what you think. What do you think you've learned about yourself in the process of doing this? Like the whole process when you worked for the other company and then setting up Win, even thinking about more recently bringing us guys in.
I can't believe it. I remember coming in from that company knowing that I was going to be doing it myself with massive imposter syndrome. I said to myself
Yeah.
so many times, who do you actually think you are? And even bringing the Success Circle in. So the Success Circle being networking membership for a year that is much more expensive than our pay-as-you-go options. And I did the taster session where I stood up and did a talk for 20 minutes about it. And I remember thinking that morning, everyone in the room is going to be thinking, who is this girl? Who does she think she is? Like, where has she come from? But actually, I've learned so much over the last year, and it's all happened so quick. I had in my head, I would start having leaders in year 5. So I was like, I'll just carry on with Bury St Edmunds. And the other venues have happened so quick. Like within month 1, I'd increased it to Sudbury, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's the natural step. It was the natural time to bring in leaders. But when I first started, I thought, God, I'll be lucky to have 20 people turn up. When I get to 20 people, I'll expand to another area. Well, the first one I had 45.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I have really underestimated myself here. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really trusted in this space now. I've been doing this a really long time, and it's just going so quick. It's snowballing.
So I thought you might say just something simply like you're good at this. So I remember a few months ago, probably before Christmas, when you learned that another local networking group was going to put in an online directory. And you were so nervous and you were so upset and so worked up about it. And you messaged me about it. And I felt really uncomfortable initially because I was like, I don't know how to say this. I really like the online directory. I think it's an asset and really helpful to the group. But I don't think it adds as much value as she thinks. And I feel like if I tell her that, it's going to break her heart. But I did because that's who I am. I'm very blunt, as you well know. And I just said, look, it's great and all that, the online directory, but it really isn't the be all and end all. You're undervaluing everything else you bring. And the events are about you and the energy and what you bring. And I think that's something I see from you a lot, that you keep reminding yourself. As well with the Success Circle, you were so nervous, but you absolutely smashed it. And each time you get these reminders that it's about you, not about these other things. It's about you. It's about the people.
I know. That sounds really big-headed to me, though.
If you were a man, you can cut this bit. If you were a man, you wouldn't think that.
No, but in all seriousness, it was when other local networking providers started copying what I was doing. Consistently, over 9 venues a month, we get about 20 people at each one. 9! Not 1!
Yeah,
So that's huge. And I
it
think
is
when
huge.
someone outside looks in who's doing something similar, they're like, well, what's she doing? What's she doing? How can she get so many people at her events? What's going on? So people are going to copy you. I know that. As hard as it is to accept, at first you see it as a compliment, but then you really, really don't after a while. But anyways, people started copying what I was doing. And it was then that I was like, it's me. It's not what I'm doing, because they were copying what I was doing and they're not getting the results. And even now to this day, they still don't get the results that we get. So, and I don't mean that in like a big-headed way or that one person's better than another, because it's not. Everyone's very different. But it just shows when you copy someone else's way of doing something, if it doesn't align with you, I hate that word align, but if it's not
Yeah, I do.
your way, if it doesn't align with you, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's very true. Us leaders do attend some of those events and see value in them. But I think the point that I want to make about Women Inspired Network is the mass appeal. So those, I can't do the maths, but 9 venues, around 20 people, that's a lot. And I really want to emphasize that is repeat custom, but around 50% of that is new customers. So we really do have that mass appeal. The other events are great. I think to a certain extent, some of them are a bit more niche than we are, but it's that mass appeal that I think that we consistently seem to achieve that makes us different and stand out.
And also, we're very business focused. A lot of the other networking groups that are out there, they're either mixed or they're focused on well-being. There is actually a place for everybody.
You're right about niche as well, because where I am, we have networking groups here, and I do go to them sometimes, but I find them really quite corporate. Lots of organisations that are very similar and that all know each other, and they're nice, and I do enjoy them, but it doesn't really work for me. I need something that fits more with what I do, and those are the kind of people that we see come to our events.
Yeah.
So, given everything that we've talked about today, and we've covered quite a lot of the challenges and how hard it can be, and a few little negatives, why does creating these networking events, bringing all these women together, 9 venues, 20 people, working so hard to keep growing, to keep pushing, to bring in more leaders, why does it matter to you?
Connection. Looking at people actually building their businesses, looking at people develop their businesses, standing in the back of the room. Sometimes I don't get to network, and that's okay. And watching the room, watching the smiles, watching people laughing, watching people who've never met taking each other's numbers. That is what means everything to me. That's exactly why I do it. Even if it is hard, even if it is stressful, I will always do it for that reason, because it's making an impact.
Yeah,
also.
I agree completely. Like, it's quite new for me, but literally that moment when you look and you see the conversations, and like my February event, somebody had to leave early, so I had to jump out of the networking. And honestly, I sat there watching everybody chatting, and I said to them afterwards, I was sitting here grinning like a Cheshire cat. I must have looked ridiculous, because it was just so joyful to see them all chatting like they've known each other forever. I absolutely loved it, so I get it.
And also, can I just say, this is why I do what I do. She comes every single session, pretty much, and she is the reason. She sits there and she's watching Mummy build an empire, and I'm teaching her that she can go and do whatever she wants, and I'm showing her that it's possible.
Yeah. And to build it around a family and school runs and stuff like that, because I think so many women are forced out of the workplace, or forced into jobs that are just not rewarding or fulfilling or financially viable when they have children. But we're demonstrating that there is options.
We're doing it for the women. We're doing it for the mums. Thank you so much, Gemma, for chatting with me. As always, not that we don't chat every day anyway. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See ya!
Thank you so much for being here and listening with us today. If you're loving the podcast and want to find out more about our Women Inspired Network events, then find out more on www.womeninspirednetwork.com/events. Or you can connect with us on Facebook under Women Inspired Network, or follow along on Instagram under women_inspired_network. And of course, subscribe to this podcast so that you don't miss an episode. I'll see you next week for another honest conversation.